A new Washington Post poll awards a record to Donald Trump, reporting that Donald Trump's job approval rating is, quote, lower than for any past president at the 100-day mark in their first or second terms. Donald Trump is now America's biggest loser in the history of first 100-day presidential polling.
It's Ken Harbaugh with the Midas Touch Network. We have him on the ropes. Donald Trump is America's least popular president at the 100-day mark since polling began. His policies are failing, his team is incompetent, and he is being made a fool of on the world stage. That's not to say his administration won't still do enormous damage to our democracy and to our freedoms. He will continue to undermine institutions that safeguard our rights, and he will continue to scapegoat and victimize the most vulnerable among us. But Americans across the political spectrum are beginning to realize the king has no clothes. Now is the time to redouble our efforts, to wake up those still asleep to what is happening, and to energize those of us ready to make our voices heard. I promised you the second part of my interview with Chris Goldsmith today because we have a major announcement. This is the big one, folks. A massive protest in Washington, D.C., led by military veterans, but open to all. If you can make it, we need you at the National Mall on June 6th, D-Day. Chris lays it out.
My goal here is not to make people feel powerless. It is not to make people feel depressed and upset. My goal is always, as yours is, to empower people, right? And I want to make sure that people are saving the date for June 6th of this year. It's a Friday. I want you to take off of work, whether you're a government employee, you work in the private sector, take off of work on Friday, June 6th. Make plans to get to Washington, D.C., because Ken and I and a bunch of our friends are organizing the Unite for Veterans, Unite for America rally. And there we are going to be uniting around the idea of keeping promises to veterans. It sounds like that doesn't touch on very much, but it really does. The American veterans population represents the diversity of America in a way that no other cross-section of our society does. We have people from the LGBTQ community, Black, brown, all different faiths. The United States military is the most diverse organization on the planet, and the American veterans community is the most diverse community on the planet. If it's an issue, whether it's foreign policy or domestic, it affects the veterans community. The reason why we are calling this the Unite for Veterans, Unite for America rally is because when you unite for veterans, you are uniting for America. So we are not just inviting veterans. We are not just inviting people from the military and veterans community. We are inviting everyone to keep the promises that are made to American veterans. And yeah, that's about healthcare. And yeah, that's about, federal jobs that 1/3 of all federal employees are veterans. It's about that. But it's also about keeping our promise to protect our Constitution from all enemies, foreign and domestic. We are expecting tens of thousands of people to join us. I want to see this be the most, I believe wholeheartedly that this protest on June 6th in Washington, D.C. will be the turning point. It will be when the Republican Party, what is left of it under MAGA, recognizes that they have lost. They have lost the people, and they cannot, through intimidation and violence, keep the American people down. And we veterans have committed to protect our Constitution. And as the Oath Keepers have polluted this phrase, but it's true, our oath to the Constitution is unending. And we will be on the front lines to protect our Constitution. And we want for you, if you're watching this, to join us.
Veterans, military family members, or anyone who wants to stand with us. June 6th on the National Mall. One other thing about that, the numbers matter, because I feel like there's that phrase, dictatorships look good until the last 5 minutes. And the reason they survive that long is because they become more and more insular. And you see this happening with the Trump regime. His circle of confidants is getting smaller and tighter. And there are reports out now that he does not even believe the polling data that says he is the most unpopular president, except for his first term, right? He's the most unpopular president in living memory. But his group of confidants is so insular that he doesn't even realize the truth. Yep. The truth's going to be hard to ignore when we deliver it on June 6th.
Yeah, and let's put another pin in the calendar. The following weekend is when we expect for Donald Trump, for Flag Day, for his birthday, to have a military, like North Korea style parade of military equipment through the streets of DC. So here are the stakes. If Donald Trump is able to draw a bigger crowd of MAGA the week following our event, the symbolism will be made clear that we are losing our country. It will give them the confidence to get even more vicious with American policy, foreign and domestic. It will give them the feeling that Donald Trump does have some sort of mandate. So we are gambling in a way. We need for June 6th to be the largest and most important protest in the United States for the last several years. This needs to be the big one. If it is not, it is going to be much, much harder for us to show that we, the people of the United States, are willing to hit the streets and stand up to an authoritarian.
There's not enough men like me who do whatever they want.
Are you sick of it yet?
Those people need to be, when we take power, they need to be given the death penalty.
The anger.
Charlie. I live like a capitalist every single day, Cenk. I live as a capitalist.
The hate.
And we have a system of checks and balances. That's a good one. That's really funny. We do?
The idea that to be a man, you have to be a bully. Fuck you! We should be better than this.
Females don't have independent thought. They don't come up with anything.
Our kids deserve better than this.
It's like women want equal rights when it's convenient, but then they still want the door open for them.
So help us change it. Subscribe to Valor Media Network, where you can find shows on sports, men's health, and patriotism without the resentment and division.
True strength is about discipline, resilience, and service.
If you've wondered where all the positive role models are, especially for young men, check out Navy SEAL Dan Barkov and Commander Bobby Jones as they share stories of service and sacrifice.
Being good at being a man is about what you do for others and not what you do for yourself.
Listen to Jason Kander and co-hosts Ravi Gupta and Adisu Demisi give you the inside track on the politics of sports.
I just want to take back what I said about the Bills. No, because in all honesty, your team seems to have gotten the vaccination thing right. Okay. My team seems to be struggling with it.
These shows and many more from Valor Media Network prove that you don't have to be an asshole to connect with young men today. Subscribe to Valor Media Network today.
If we are successful, which I absolutely believe that we will be, despite the fact that billionaires are going to be funding the military parade while we are a grassroots effort, if we are able to embarrass Donald Trump again, showing that we can bring a bigger, greater crowd than he can, with all of the power of the presidency, with all of the money in the world, with the richest man on the planet standing by him, paying people millions of dollars to vote for him, we either win or lose. This is the moment. And that's why we're announcing this so far ahead of time. People have been reaching out to me and saying, are we even going to have a country on June 6th? We're already in a constitutional crisis. Functionally, there's not going to be a whole lot different between now and a month from now. The only thing that the reason why we are announcing this so early is because we want for you, if you're watching this, to make plans to get to Washington, D.C. Now, if you can't do that, you can donate. If you don't have the resources to donate, that is okay too. You can take this video and you can share it on social media. You can email it to people. getting the message out is every bit as valuable and every bit as much as it is showing up, right? We are inclusive. We recognize that people might not have the economic ability to support us, may not be physically able to stand in the heat in DC in June. Trust me, I don't want to do that. And I would not blame anyone for not wanting to take the risk of standing out in the sun in a hot day in June in DC. But there are many ways that you can support us. You can go to Unite, the number 4 Veterans, unite4veterans.org. Or you can simply spread this video and encourage your friends, your family to come and support us.
Link is in the show notes. We'll also flash it up right here. Look, I'm doing, I think, 3 flights, a train, and a 4x4 across the border in Ukraine to make it to this march, like minutes before it starts. If I can do that, if you live on the East Coast, you can get yourself there. And as Chris said, there are other ways to support. We need everybody to be part of this movement. June 6th in DC. The link is below. Chris, as always.
And let me tie it real quick back to where we started.
Yeah.
Because what also happened this past weekend is an active duty member of the United States Coast Guard showed up to a new post to sign into their on-post housing in Key West, Florida. This is an active duty family who was signing into post. The wife, she was taken by ICE, and she is being processed for deportation. As of the time that we're recording this, I don't know where she is, if she's already been removed from the country or not. The reason that she was removed is she had a work visa that expired in 2017. And yes, that's a problem. Getting married to someone on active duty is not a free pass. But some things can be solved with a conversation. Pete Hegseth, Donald Trump, and the rest of the Trump-Musk administration have been talking about readiness. They're going to focus on war fighting. Do you think that active duty member of the United States Coast Guard, that the American taxpayer and the American military, the Coast Guard, have invested hundreds of thousands of dollars in training at a minimum? Do you think that is going to be a ready warfighter after his wife was kidnapped by ICE? No. That is, again, wrapping it all together, that is why we are asking for everyone to join us on June 6th, because that is a promise that your family is safe while you're serving in uniform. That is a promise that needs to be kept to members of the military and veterans community. And from there, we can ensure that promises are kept for every American.
Amen, Chris. Thank you. I'll see you on June 6th, if not sooner, and we'll have you back here often.
Thanks a lot, brother.